Hello, today we're going to take a look at how to build a query in Microsoft Access. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up the database we've been working on. I have this database of Newbery Award-winning books. You can see here now that we've added a few objects. We have a couple tables, a form, some reports. It doesn't matter whether you have these open or closed. Um, I'm going to go ahead and leave them closed to create a query. We click on the create button and we find the queries. Query means question. It is a way of asking a question of your database or doing a search of specific things in your database. So we're going to start by either clicking Query Wizard or Query Design. I like to do my queries from Query Design. So let's jump into that. All right, so this is our query design. And right away, this dialog box is asking us what information do we want to do our search in. And we can actually pick several of these. I'm going to pick our Newbery Award winners table. I'm going to add that up here. That's going to be the only one we need. So I'm going to go ahead and close this now. You can actually search from any table, tables, or queries. But basically, this is the only one we really need to use. And we're going to build the query by taking our various fields and dragging them down here into this area designed to help us build our query. And we're going to start by dragging every field that we would like to be involved somehow with our query down to these columns. So I'm going to start with book title. We're going to probably want author, might be good. Let's do year and genre both. I'm not going to do the ID field. You do not have to do every one of these, just the ones you would like to actually show up in your results. All right, so for this first query, let's maybe do a search of science fiction books. So we want to show the book title, we want to show the author and maybe the year. But for genre, we're specifically looking for science fiction books. So I'm going to come down here to criteria. And I'm going to type in the criteria I'm looking for, science fiction. And what that's going to do is it's going to read through all of my database, and it's going to show me every record whose genre is science fiction. So when we're ready to run the query, notice that our ribbon has changed. I'm going to click the Run button. And what that's going to do is it's going to show me the book titles, author, year, and genre, but only the science fiction books are going to show up. If we like the query, great, we can save it. If not, you can actually come down here to our query views, and we can come down to design view, and we can continue to work on it. For example, maybe in addition to science fiction, we would also like to see the fantasy books. And let's run that to see how that changes. And there we go. Now we have some fantasy and science fiction. I think that's a good list. How do we want to sort it? Let's go back to our design view. And maybe we can put them in order by author, perhaps, or by year. Either one of those would be fine. Let's do year that it won the award. And here are your choices, ascending or descending. Let's pick one and see what that does. When we run the query, we can see that we have the same books, but now they're in order from oldest to newest. If we like that, great. If we want to change it from youngest to oldest, we can go back and we can change it from ascending to descending. Run that, and same books, but now you've got the most recent books at the top and the oldest books at the bottom. Now, this is great. Maybe we want to show all these fields. Maybe it's good to put them in year order, but maybe you don't actually need to see the year when we run the query. So what we can do there is down here, we still want to sort them by year, but if I remove this check right here, when it sorts it, the year is not going to show. So let's go ahead and run that. All right, so here it's showing us the book titles, authors, and genres of all of the science fiction and fantasy books, but interestingly enough, it's not showing us the year, even though it is sorted by the year. Although I'm thinking maybe we do want to show year. But if we're doing a search for genre, I don't know that genre really needs to show. So let's go back and make those changes. Let's remove the check from genre and add the check for year. And let's run that. And sure enough, here we have all of the fantasy and science fiction books. And I think this is the way I want this query to run. So let's go ahead and save our query. I'm going to right click on the tab. I'm going to pick save. It's going to ask for a name. And I'm going to type science fiction books. And I'm going to end it with a Q because this is a query and that matches our object naming convention. And when I click OK, you'll see that that gets added to our list of objects in Access. Now, one thing I would like to expose you to as we take a look at queries is this view down here called SQL, Structured Query Language. For people who are very serious about databases, this structured query language takes everything we did here at the bottom and puts it into a very concise query language that can be used across many different kinds of database applications. So right now we're showing book title from this table, author from this table, year from this table descending, genre from this table, and only showing science fiction and fantasy. And let's take a look at SQL and see if we can see those same things. Now here you see some new words we haven't seen before, like select, from, where, and order. But if you take a good look at this, you will see the same fields that we were using here. You can, as a matter of fact, here we can see book title, here we can see author, here we can see year, and it's actually naming the table that those came from. Here it's telling us where the table is. Here it's showing us to show the science fiction and the fantasy only, and here it's showing us how to order it. So this is quite literally the same thing as this, but it's written in structured query language known as SQL. Not that you need to know SQL, but I want to put that on your radar in case you're turn out to be somebody who wants to go deeper into computer applications and in some kind of business setting. SQL may be helpful to learn for certain jobs. All right, so that is writing a query in Microsoft Access.